What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Errol the Truth Spence. Errol Spence reacts to Crawford Avanesian. He says now everyone can see now who was holding up the fight. The king of the welterweight division will have to wait some more if they're going to fight, and if it really happens. On Thursday, hours after BoxingScene.com senior writer reported that there was growing concern on Errol Spence Jr.'s side that the Crawford's team wasn't committed to an undisputed championship fight for all of the belts at 147 pounds. Crawford announced that he was skipping on a slugfest with Spence and instead would face Armenian welterweight contender David Avanesian on December 10th in Omaha, and it's supposed to be distributed by BLK Prime for $39.95. And just like that, the months-long negotiations around Spence-Crawford contest suddenly crumbled and came to a crash. He said, "I don't know who Avanesian is," Spence told Dallas Morning News. He said, "I've done everything that I said I was going to do, and I'll fight him next, and we'll see who is holding the fight up. Everyone sees now who is holding the fight up. He had this fight against Avanesian, I guess, in his back pocket." Okay. Let me counterpunch. Let me bring you guys back to something, okay? I want to bring you guys back to something very important. We all know that Blue Blood Sports TV was a pro Errol Spence guy. He was pro Spence. He thought that Crawford, has missed a step or two. He's not the same fighter, and he thought that Errol Spence would beat him. And one of the things was that Terence Crawford was a part of the ESPN network, and he was over on that side of the street, and that was the reason why the fight over here where Errol Spence couldn't come together and grow fruition is because of that. Well, Terence Crawford left there, and now he is a free agent, and he has been in negotiations with Errol Spence a very fucking long time. I mean, this is October. Those guys have been in negotiations probably since June, July, August, September. Yeah, like since the summertime, okay? And we haven't heard really anything too much. We just know what we've heard. Like, hey, this is what's going on. That's what's going on. What's going on? We don't really know what's going on until, all we had is sources that report, and then based on what you feel or what you think or who you follow, that's pretty much how you're going to report it, right? So Blue Blood reported it his way. I reported it my way. I doubted the fight was going to happen anyway, bars. But at the end of the day, this is what we have. Terence Crawford rolled up on Blue Blood Sports TV and told him everything that he needed to do. So, like I was saying, you guys, Terence Crawford spilled the beans on Blue Blood and asked Blue Blood, "Hey man, why you hating on me? Despite what you think you heard, you don't know what you think you know, this, that, and the other. So this is what's really going on, okay? This is what's going on. I've agreed to all the bullshit. I have chose the less money. I wanted this fight more. This is what was going on, and the crazy thing about that, and it dawned on Blue Blood that despite him reporting that, Errol Spence didn't say shit, okay? He didn't say a fucking thing. He didn't contest it. He didn't respond to it. None of that. And I think it was almost like a bulb coming on for Blue Blood Sports TV to really understand, like, yo, if that is what Terence Crawford told me, and me having a platform like I do for Pro PBC, the LDBC, and all this other support that he has for those type of fighters, and Errol Spence is not saying any fucking thing, who are you going to really believe? You're going to believe the person that's speaking. You're going to believe the person that's proclaiming what's going on. If the other person stays silent, what does that tell you? That tells you, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, that Errol Spence, everything that Terence Crawford said was true, because Errol Spence didn't have anything to say. And when have we ever heard Errol Spence short of words? Until that time, he confronted Blue Blood. That's when. Okay, so now the negotiation's supposed to be going this way or going that way or doing this or doing that. And then guess what? Now he decides to fight Avanesian, right? Then the first thing comes out his mouth, oh, well, I guess he didn't want to fight after all. I said it's going to happen next. But you wasn't really explaining on why the fuck, okay? Why in the fuck you are not, or you didn't respond to any of those things that Terence Crawford was talking about. Now you want to talk after it was all said and done and say, see, I told y'all guys that, I told y'all that he didn't want it. Okay, so it didn't really matter at the end of the day. It didn't really matter because I think he was just relieved that Terence Crawford has moved on. Now he can begin to fucking talk again and start pulling that card like, oh, see, I told you he didn't want to fight. So there you go, y'all. Y'all see who everybody y'all see how much he wanted this fight. You know, no, you were bullshitting people for a long time because you really was standing and holding on those negotiations. You didn't really want progress to come about. You didn't want to see the fight. You didn't want to see things through. He agreed to the money. They kept moving the goalpost. I know what fuck happened. Nothing was happening. And then when you don't hear from a certain side, you start to get restless. And when you start to get restless, you start to ask yourself like, okay, well, what the fuck is really going on here? What's going on here, really? You know? So for Errol Spence to say, oh, I never heard of Avanesian, well, you need to look at the fucking rankings. That's all you need to do. You know? So that's the first thing you say. You never heard of him like he just picked somebody. No, he made sure that his career was going a certain way because he was not waiting for you. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Errol, the true Spence, stating that we all see who wanted to fight. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!